Hey guys.
He's about to wake up to his potential. He
He,
has no
you know,
idea what he's in for.
he has no idea. That's right.
Oh, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life.
How does it get even better, Ben? What else is possible now?
It's night in here. We got people even in the nighttime. Where are you coming from? Let us know where in the world you are today if you're with us live. And
Hi, Demas. Good evening to you, Demas.
it's night.
Welcome.
Yeah, good evening. And Ether and Jack is in the house. Human V. Isabel.
Awesome.
Team Happiness. Magic Universe of Tea. What's up, Meredith?
I
Z
want to be on that
Freds.
team happiness. Yeah, team happiness.
We are on Team Happiness. Hello,
Hello, Chicago.
Detroit.
Detroit.
I'm gonna do. Can we do
Nice.
each accent of the people here? Chicago,
Ben,
Detroit, Michigan.
Chicago. Montana,
We're gonna
Montana.
go see a football game down at the big house.
Good afternoon in the UK, Jack. How are you, mate?
All right, sunny Montana. Oh no, there's
Thailand,
floods
Demas, you're in
happening.
Thailand. I'll let Ben do that accent. Go ahead, Ben. Do
I
the Thai accent.
Thai. I can't do it. I was gonna try to, but that would not sound appropriate.
You mean it would be ugly?
It would
How
probably come
appropriate.
off as very racist. I don't
Right,
think
exactly.
I
We're
would
not going
definitely
for
offend
ugly.
someone. No, and it depends on what part of the UK you're in. So
That's
we're
right.
talking about how to own your ugly parts. If you're here, maybe you think you have some ugly parts. I don't know. It's really subjective, and we're gonna look at
Mhm.
that today and how to blow that shit out of the water. Daniel,
Exactly.
do you feel like you have ugly parts?
Uh, you know, Ben, when you had proposed this topic, there is
Mm-hmm.
that part of me that goes, "What are you talking about? I don't have ugly parts." Right? And then I realized that my ugly part is not allowing myself to be vulnerable enough to admit that I have ugly parts too, right?
Mm, that's juicy.
Oh, it's juicy. And I thought, okay, well, let me play with this a little bit. Let me go a little bit more into this. And I have an incredibly amazing high school friend, actually, Letitia, Latasha, and she is actually a coach, and she has a whole program called Embrace Your Ugly.
Mm,
And
love
it's
it.
really, really brilliant. I love what she does. She's really phenomenal. I thought of inviting her to today, but it was too last minute. Maybe in the future we can have a conversation with her. But what
Yeah,
she really kind of does is she kind of empowers you to just put all of you out there, right? And ugly is essentially a judgment, right? Ugly is a decision that whether we've created it or somebody else has created it, it's not ours, you know?
it's totally made
And
up. Yeah.
it's totally made up. It's totally made up. And when I realized that I was choosing to not confront that quote unquote part of myself that I considered ugly because I considered it ugly. And so what if I think where we're going is we've got to redefine what ugly means,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
And what about you?
For sure.
What do you perceive your quote unquote ugly is?
Mm. Well, how I've owned my ugly is when
Mhm.
I split my eye open in the surfing accident. I had these like stitches from here all the way up into my eye. I had an eye patch for a while, and it looks
Mhm.
pretty gnarly. And I just started like I got
Mm.
headshots done like that, and I was like, dude, I'm like the scar guy now. Like it was pretty
Yeah.
intense, but it wasn't to me pretty to look at anymore. But it was different, and this used to be my like open eye. So this eye
Yeah.
was always more closed than this one, and now this is the like more closed one. And in actors, like I'm in headshots, I'm trying to get my eyes open, just people to see my eyes, and I've developed this like eyebrow raise tube. I noticed to try to open my eye because I just
Kinda
want
love
to
that.
see out of it more, and it's
Uh-huh.
just this whole kind of thing. And I, rather than trying to like the actor in me would want to like fix it or correct it or bring some like neutrality back to my face, I just embraced it. Like I like shoot on this side more, like you'll notice I
Sure.
lean into here, and like this used to be my good side, but um I think I
So can
lean
I?
into that. I talk about it.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to say, hold that
Yeah.
thought, Daniel,
Yeah.
is um like with our miscarriage that I've been talking about on social media recently, like that's something that can occur as ugly or gross, um, ugly emotionally too. But I've really been owning that as something that's been so beautiful and a really important part of my growth. So even those things, sometimes my belly I struggle with, like
Hmm.
it even when I'm 10 pounds overweight, I'm really uncomfortable because I've been like a runner and a soccer player my whole life. And I just the way I'm built, I'm not used to carrying weight. It doesn't feel good. And like suddenly, as I've grown this year, even muscularly, a lot of my clothes aren't fitting. Like my shirts don't fit. So it's like I'm just dealing with, rather than being like, oh, I like need to lose weight or something, I'm just buying more comfortable clothes now.
Sure.
And that's
So
another way I've embraced it. So like just feeling good and allowing myself to have a bigger waistline or a bigger anything and just feel more comfortable in me, and how can I own this body I have now? And I really think in owning it, we allow it to evolve. It can't grow when you are mean to it.
right.
That
I really
energy
like.
has no possibility.
Right. And I love. I think it's so beautiful that you actually went to physical ugly, right? You were really you when we talk
I
when
took
we
it
were talking
literally.
about ugly, you
Yeah.
took it literally, right?
Yeah.
You went right for the physical. And I think that's something that I definitely avoid because I avoid I avoid confronting those particular places in my life where I do feel quote unquote ugly physically, because I remember like as a kid and as a child I was just so awkward. I was fat, I was chubby, I wore my dad's size 32 jeans in 5th grade, you know, and had to roll up the yeah, husky, of course. Had to go to Sears. I remember having to go to Sears to buy Huskies. Yeah, and it was just like I never ever felt attractive. And I think when I started to feel attracted or started to notice that other people perceived me as attractive, then I started to really question, like, wow, what kind of abuse have I been taking on myself all this time? And why? Why do we abuse ourselves so much? Why do we make things like weight and these things so significant that they
Yeah.
sabotage what's really, really there for us? And I definitely like, for example, I was just telling I was supposed to have a photo shoot. It's so crazy that you're mentioning this. I was supposed to have a photo shoot on Monday, and the photographer called me this morning and she said, I just want to get our times locked in. And I said, Abby, I'm just not feeling cute right now. Can we possibly do this in a month? And she's like, well, basically, she's like, oh, come on, please. I said, I don't know. It's just a feeling. It's a feeling like all these things that I've been kind of dealing with and going through. And I said, and also I went to see the barber here in New York, which I
Yeah. I
haven't
was
done
gonna
in
say
ages.
you have a great haircut.
So thank you for saying it's great because all I see is that he like buzzed my hair. My hair is usually a little bit longer.
Yeah, I was gonna say
And
it's shorter than I've seen it in a long time, and you were like,
yeah,
"Oh, oh,
pretty
okay,
much.
oh
Pretty
wow,
much.
oh
Even
yeah,
my even
hi
my partner
Summer."
was like, "What did they do to you, baby?"
Oh no,
I was like,
thanks,
"I
Guillermo.
know. I know. Exactly."
Rather
So
than like,
embracing that.
"Wow, it's so yeah."
Yeah. Well, his follow-up to that was, "You're so handsome." So don't worry, he got himself out of it.
Okay, good.
Exactly. And I'd love to hear from anybody online who's talking about what that looks like for them to embrace their ugly. What are some of the things that you do, what that you guys do to actually look at those places that you've judged as ugly and to change them? What do you
Yeah.
choose?
And I was wondering also if you would all, if anyone would be willing to share. I shared three of them. Any one part that you feel is ugly, just
Hmm.
like no judgment, just name it, just put it out there. Uh, Daniel, while you all are doing that, I'll follow up with you. Oh my gosh, we got Danny Fingers in the house. So the Magic Tea and Magic Universe and Danny Fingers and I were all in a band together, Danny Fingers and the Thumbs, which is still an incredible band. And we I told you about playing meeting
Yeah.
Rufus Wainwright.
Yes.
That was with Danny. So it's really
Wow.
cool that you're here, Danny. Danny lives in Portland, Oregon, and is a world traveler as well. And we're talking about owning
Welcome.
our ugly parts. And Danny and I both been through that. He's someone I turned to after I lost my father. He reached out to me because he was a bandmate and a friend in my life who didn't have a father for quite some time. And you know, there's some ugly parts of me, like during the band times, like with my alcoholism that I had to deal with. And you know, recently for this photo shoot, Daniel, actually my photographer, Leslie Hassler, who I just love, she's incredible. If you're anywhere near New York, shoot with her. You can come shoot with her.
Hmm.
She lives in Rhinebeck now, and I had a photo shoot scheduled with her, and her mother and my father dated in high school in Far City,
Wow.
Arkansas,
No way.
on the edge of Memphis. And we were supposed to have a photo shoot like 3 or 4 months ago, and it was around the anniversary of my dad's passing, and then we also
Hmm.
had our miscarriage. And I just like that morning I started crying so hard and I couldn't stop, and my eyes were swollen up. And then the next day, like, they were still swollen, and I just had to tell her, like, call her and be like, my face is really swollen, like I would love to shoot, but I'm in no place grief wise to even be present with you.
Yeah.
And that we were able to reschedule, and then we went back and we finally did the shoot. And of course, like, the tears were coming up again, and I was like, what is going on? And I just said, you know, it wouldn't be fair to reschedule it again, so I just leaned into it, and we
Yeah.
just went. And you know, there's like a couple things, like a photographer helped, an editor helped, like, take some red out of my eye. But other than that, like, you know, I just tried to be with, because this is like, I'm grieving on a regular basis now. So this is me,
Sure. Right.
and this is what I look like more. And if my eyes are swollen some days, that's just like part of who I am. So I'm trying to sort of
Yeah.
own that too.
Exactly.
So I want to share that for anyone who doesn't feel permission to just like let yourself be. You know, I also have, like, my wife got me some great undercover eye makeup, because especially if I haven't slept well or certain mornings
Yeah.
because of my face, I also look like I have a massive black eye, and it's weird for some people, especially
Yeah.
corporate environments. They're like,
Totally.
who's this, like, MMA guy leading our
Look
meditation?
at look at how much we judge ourselves, Ben. You
Yeah.
know? Really, just listen to this conversation of you who I see is beautiful both inside and out all the
Mm,
time, no matter where you are, whatever you're grieving or whatever you're going through.
thank you.
And you know, you have all these points of views, and you have all these conclusions about how that's not beautiful. And
Hmm.
you know, if that was what was meant to be captured in those photos, was that essence behind the energy behind all that you were going through. You know, what if, and this is the question that we could really kind of ask for all of us, what if we actually recognize that that was the source of creation and the source of invitation? That's what the word I'm looking for. The source of an invitation to others who may have who may be looking for permission to, let's say, mourn, or maybe looking for permission to grieve, or may have been waking up every day and looking in the mirror and saying, oh my god, I can't leave this house because I look so horrible, because I've been crying for 3 years because I lost
Mm,
my father. You know,
mm,
and what if you being you, no matter what state you're in, was exactly what was required for everyone to say, okay, wow, this is it, you know? So thank you
mm.
for that.
That's a beautiful reflection. Thank you, Daniel.
And thanks for going for it. That's the other thing I wanted
Yeah,
to say. Thanks for going for it, you
thank
know?
you. Well, I want to lead by example and let us know it's okay to talk about these things. And,
Yeah,
you
totally.
know, we had like 10 people live, and of those 10 people, only one person mentions what they felt was ugly. So I just want to acknowledge, that space of even like talking about it
Hmm.
can feel scary. But, I think the more we can acknowledge it, the more we can let it go and be like, oh, who does that belong to? So the
Right.
magic universe of tea says, I'm owning my ugly crease wrinkle forming in the middle of my forehead near my third eye. Like this one,
Mm.
or this one, or this one, or this one. Like which one? Yeah, I wonder about that. And what part of you feels that it's ugly? Like where did you learn that a crease or wrinkle could be ugly? Right.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'm curious about that. We've really invested so much money in the the Botox culture and all of that industry, which like no judgment around that, but we really are putting a lot of money into changing ourselves. And I'm
Sure.
curious about like, because what if someone starts just owning wrinkles as like, well, clearly I have more wisdom than you. I've been on this planet. I mean, look how many wrinkles I have. Like a treat, like, dude, you
Yeah.
have 10, I
Totally.
have 100. Like, go home.
Right. Yeah.
Like I
Totally.
wonder if how could we own something as I remember growing up watching women talk about that and thinking, God, all these women are so beautiful. And even now, like, I love the like salt and pepper look. And I think gray hairs or even wrinkles on women is like a really sign of like having lived some life. And I think
Hmm.
it's really sexy to like experience and wisdom. And I see that for everyone. So I'm curious if any of that comes up for you. I know as I've lost like hair, like my hairline's thinned a lot over the
Yeah.
last few
Of
years. Like
course.
I've had judgments about that, but then
Yeah.
my
It's hard.
wife would say, "Well, look at Bruce Willis," and you're like, "Yeah, like why am I making hair such a thing?" That's why monks like the first thing they do is shave off their hair. Like let's just even take that out of the, you
Let's
know,
remove it. Yeah.
yeah, just take it out of the algorithm altogether.
I think it's funny that you mentioned that because it's when I was a kid, most of my life I had like really, really, really thick hair, like such a mane. And I used to cry when I used to get my hair cut. And my mom used to call me Samson
Oh, the
because
lion.
uh-huh. And I used to be so afraid of getting my hair cut. And I didn't want my hair to be cut. And the older I got, and more recently, when again my hairline has changed and the texture of my hair has changed and all that, I have really tried so hard to hold on to it, right? And I've tried so hard to hold on to all those things. I started going gray when I was like 25, so I was coloring my hair at an early age too because I didn't want to appear older than I was. I was auditioning and doing all of that. And I remember the first time like I kind of like let the gray go, as they say, and the response that I had was, people really were seeing a different side of me that they embraced, and they were like, wow. I'm even going to go as far as to say they maybe even respected and had a little bit more appreciation for how I was showing up. They would always lead with, I see you've got some grays there, or you're letting the grays out, or all of that. And then it would be this
Oh,
ease
yeah.
of, ah, cool. We can relate, you know? Because look, I am definitely one of those people that invests in a lot of beauty regimens and products, and I have had Botox, and I've done all of those things, and I love them. I own them, I love them, and I also love getting older, and I embrace what it looks like to get older, and I embrace whatever state my body wants to be in. I say, body, this is your day. You choose what state you want to be in. And it doesn't take away or doesn't mean that we don't work at those things. It just means that you come, for me, it's being in that state of allowance, you know, just no matter what, just be in that state of allowance.
Yes. Yeah, that energy has come up, and I love the energy of allowance. Um, there's a
Yeah.
trust and allow, and we can ask, but where are we not allowing ourselves to receive that message or to
Yeah.
receive that gift or to
Right.
know that we're enough or that this could actually be the thing that separates us, that stands us apart? I know an actor who dyed his hair brown, and we were like proud blonde guys. We'd see each other at all the blonde guy auditions. And I stopped seeing him, and I learned why. He was
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh yeah, I
Totally.
dyed my hair darker and my eyebrows, and I book a ton more work now." And I was like, "Oh, you know." And part of me thought about doing
Interesting.
that, and then thank God I had the thought, "Well, I was born with this hair color, so I'm just gonna keep that." I think because it's me. Like maybe that's the thing that keeps like I can't imagine
Hmm.
trying to keep up a regimen and hoping to get more work. Like here I am trying to jump through more hoops, but what if I could just own myself and get more work that way? Um,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It worked for me.
Of
uh,
course. And that's I think that's the part of creation, right?
mm-hmm.
Like you figure out, okay, this is what I have to offer. This is how I show up in the world. So there's definitely going to be opportunities for me. It's that lack-based consciousness where we start to think, well, I mean, there's not going to be enough for me, so therefore I have to change something about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not true. There's plenty for you. And if you don't perceive that there's plenty for you, change it, create it. I always think about people like that beautiful, speaking of, young woman, well, that created that TV show Girls.
Oh yeah.
Late, what was her name? Leah Dunham? Leah?
Yes. Yeah.
Lena Dunham.
Lena Dunham. Yep.
I mean, talk about really, really, really embracing who you be,
Mm-hmm.
and inspiring a whole new generation of young women with your
Yeah.
stories and with everything.
Yeah.
And I love how in that series she like wrote herself into having wild, crazy, passionate sex. And she's the type of girl that always got looked at and said, people said, "Oh my God, she'll never get laid," and she wrote this whole
Mm.
series where she's having sex with the hottest guys and doing this and doing that. Talk about embracing who you are and who you be and making it work for you. You know, that's
Yeah.
exciting to me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. That was
exciting.
awesome. That was
Hmm.
awesome. And even then, yeah. I mean, it's I still like her character um struggled with it. Like,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of self-deprecation that was hard to watch for me, but
Yeah.
it was her truth, and I think just even putting that in front of us was is so great. And
Yeah.
also I really want to give a shout out to the show Woke, and there was one other great show I was talking about that starred an African American woman. I'm gonna write it when I think about it. It was an
Okay.
incredible show that she wrote, and um, it talks about all the things she deals with and she's really tall, and felt goofy, and so she didn't feel like she fit into black culture and how to be sexy in that way. And then she wrote an incredible series dealing with all of that as well. And she's super gorgeous. I'll think of the show later, but it's just I really love seeing different ways people embrace that and look at that, and that we really, I mean, it's all made up. Like we see it on
Right.
TV, we see it on our phones. There's something called the Instagram face, which is smaller nose, cheek implants, Botox
Yeah.
here, like the eyes out here, slightly fuller lips. And it's like the most popular face now. And I'm literally seeing it on celebrities on TV. I'm seeing it on young girls, like 13-year-olds are changing their face to look like this because we have all these touch up appearances on our phones.
Yeah.
So, we are literally training our youth to try to fit in some mold to find beauty and acceptance and validation. So I really believe
Exactly.
we have to begin with ourselves. We have to give ourselves permission to own our ugly parts as maybe our most beautiful, as
Beautiful.
maybe the thing that could,
Yeah.
somebody's yuck could be somebody else's yum.
I love that.
There's people who have fetishes for the thing that you're trying to get rid of.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Some people
Well,
love bald men, or like heavy set people, or there's all
whatever.
kinds of weird things. Yeah, hairless,
Yeah.
hairy. This hairless movement too. That's new. I mean, I'm sure it'll change. It's like the stock market. Just if you leave it in there long enough, it'll come back around.
It always
Everyone panics, and
does.
we're like, oh, we have to change everything because that's what everyone
Uh-huh.
else is doing. That's what we should do out of
Exactly.
fear and change. And like, actually, if you just allow,
Yeah,
maybe it could turn into something much greater.
exactly. And also, you know, the more that we are having this conversation, Ben, I just have to say, like, you know, it's the words that we attach to them. Like, we attach the words weird, we attach the words odd, we attach the words ugly, we attach these words to them. And where are these words coming from? Where are these words coming from? Where's the energy behind these words? Like, w- what if we created something different together collectively that didn't separate us? I'd love to
Mm.
I'd love to live in this world where it wasn't like, and look, we could even, go into different cultures and races and this and that. Like, what if it was just like we were just all these beautiful souls doing whatever we were doing and going through this life experience, learning from each other. I know it sounds like so Pollyanna. I sound like I need to be, lighting my sage and chanting Om Shanti right now, but
Well, that's judgment too, Daniel, because I was
I
really
know.
enjoying what you were sharing.
It's so true. Like, living in this world where we just really can see each other for who we really are at our
Mm,
deepest core, and to be
mm,
inspired by and to be loved by and to be appreciated through all of that.
mm.
And to not be, oh, that's the black guy, or that's the gay guy, or that's the
The fat one or the
supermodel,
skinny one or
or the
the
fat one or the skinny
yeah,
one. Yeah, yeah, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, all the many colors. I just had this most beautiful. Oh, thank you, universe. I just had the most beautiful vision, and it's like my most one of my most favorite commercials in the world. I think it was in the '80s, and it
Uh-huh.
was a Coca-Cola or Pepsi commercial, and there's all these kids from all over the world, and they're all holding hands, and you hear the song, "I see your true colors
Oh,
shining
yeah.
through."
I love that.
And then the choir comes in, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to
Right.
let them show your true
True
colors.
colors.
Yeah, it's like I get chills thinking about it.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, yes, I might go listen to that song today.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Here we are. I guess, well, this Sunday is Pride, right? Gay Pride here in New York. And it's no coincidence
What?
that the symbol of the gay pride movement is the rainbow flag, right?
Mm,
To represent all the different shapes and colors and sizes of who we be. And even in that, what if we just celebrated and had pride for who we be, right?
yes. Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I want to give a
Oh,
shout out while I'm thinking about it. This play I did, here we go, Crusade of
hmm,
Connor Stevens. This is the Pride playbill we had that was signed by the cast because we did it on Pride 4 or 5 years ago. And it's about hate against people who are different, especially in the gay community, gun violence, how it affects our children in the South, Christianity, fundamentalism. And man, people were really, it was like something to do that in the summer. It wasn't like a
yeah,
fun, happy play, but we were talking about, well, this is still a reality that we are literally killing people in our own country for being different from
right.
us.
Exactly.
So how
Exactly.
can we embrace this, all the beautiful colors together, like, and
Hmm.
people argue with the Christianity is like, well, remember Noah and the ark, and the prostitutes and the lepers and the, like, why are we still outcasting people instead of welcoming them and creating love and asking, like, how are you, what do you need, looking for what we have in common. So that's my sermon for today.
I love your sermon. I would like to add a sermon of myself. Something just really came to me. And
Please.
and as we started this conversation off today talking about embracing your ugly, what if we actually turned it a complete 180, and it was embracing all that is beautiful about you. All that is beautiful about you.
Mm,
Period.
mm,
You know? All that is beautiful about you, and that's my wish for pride, is that each of us sees that which is beautiful within each of us and shares that with the world. Whether it's something that we wear on the outside or whether it's something that we have on the inside, whether, like I started off talking about how it's not so easy for me to be so vulnerable. That is such a gift of yours, Ben, but you're an invitation for that. I see you being able to do that. I want to institute more of that in my life, but I recognize that that's a part that is beautiful about me that I'm going to work towards, becoming even more beautiful. And so what is beautiful about you, and
Mhm.
what is beautiful about you that is something that everybody can appreciate and just say, wow, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that part of you.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I think that's a great way to leave it. Um, yeah. And I want to say a big shout out to the Pride Parade. It was in the going to Pride Parade while in a relationship with a woman that I saw that I was not. I saw this like drag queen on top of a float, like living her best life. And I literally felt like this drag queen, like butterflies emerging from inside me. And it was at that moment that I was like, oh my God, I am suppressing so much of myself. And I got that permission from seeing that person that I could not be in that relationship anymore. It was
Wow.
really intense. And ended up um, getting this person pregnant. And we were going to just like let go of our life in New York and raise this child. And then she had a miscarriage, and I really felt like I was given a new lease on life to like, well, here's your chance. You all have lost everything. Can you just go be yourself now? Can you go really fly, like rise from the ashes now?
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say that she's married and pregnant and just had a beautiful child. And, I'm in this relationship now where I get to own all of myself. And so, where are we not owning all of ourselves? And thank you, Daniel, for being my co pilot on this vessel of
Thank
change
you,
and
brother.
beauty today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to all of you who continue to support us and support each other in this journey. And whatever you take away from anything we spoke about today, let's do everyone a favor and go out into the world and share. Hey, look, I listened to these two guys this morning on this podcast, and we were talking about embracing who you be, and that which we called ugly is now beautiful. And I just want to tell you, this is me. And go out there and share with somebody who you are. Celebrate who you are, no matter what. And if you feel inclined, tell them to come and check out our podcast and like it and subscribe and go to Spotify and all that good stuff too. But this is not a transactional relationship, so it's okay.
We love you no matter
We love
what.
you no matter what. Exactly.
I put in the show notes, yeah, just to be sure to check that out, because if you would like to listen to more, we would love to have you there. We have all these episodes on Spotify podcasts now
Yeah.
and Google, and we want to spread this. So if it has resonated, you could share it with one person today, or just subscribe, and that's a great way to give back. And you being here is enough. You are enough.
That's right.
So thank you for being here with us. We
Thank
really
you.
do this with you and for you. So please come join us same time, same place next week.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful week. And Ben, thank you again, my brother. Love you so
Yeah, my
much.
pleasure. Love you too. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.